What if the secret to real wealth isn't in grinding or saving, but in a forbidden mindset shift the ultra-rich allegedly hide? This controversial finance trick is making waves behind closed doors. They won't talk about it, but we will. Watch till the end and smash that subscribe button. Why wealthy people are actually financially trapped. You've seen them, the ones flashing luxury cars, high-end fashion, and expensive watches like trophies. They look like they've made it, but here's the twist. Most of them are silently drowning in debt. That shiny BMW? Leased. That designer outfit? Bought on credit. And that Rolex? It's not wealth, it's a mask. We're living in an age of financial cosplay. People are performing success while hiding the truth. They're broke in disguise. And society loves it. It praises the illusion. You're told to get the biggest house possible, even if it comes with 30 years of payments. You're pushed to drive the best car, even if your bank balance is running on fumes. It's a game of appearances, not actual value. The truth? Real wealth doesn't make noise. The people with true financial power aren't flaunting. They don't need to, because their confidence doesn't come from stuff, it comes from security. While others are posting selfies next to liabilities, they're quietly stacking assets. And here's the kicker. The system is set up to keep you in that illusion. It sells you the dream, then traps you in debt. But don't worry. We're going to shatter that illusion, because once you see it for what it is, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. The one mindset keeping you financially stuck. Here's the real reason most people stay stuck, no matter how hard they work. It's not a lack of hustle, it's the mindset they're trapped in. See, most people are raised to think like workers, not owners. It starts early, get good grades, go to college, land a job, climb the ladder. But that ladder, it's leaning on the wrong wall, because all you're doing is trading your time for a paycheck. That's the wage mindset. In this mindset, your income depends on your hours. If you don't work, you don't eat. That's not freedom. That's survival. Now compare this to the wealth mindset. Wealthy people don't work for money. They make money work for them. They build systems, buy assets, and multiply their income without punching a clock. The truth? Working hard in the wrong system just burns you out. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. And the worst part is, no one tells you the treadmill's optional. The shift begins when you stop asking, how do I make more money? And start asking, how do I turn the money I have into more money without giving up my life to do it? The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. And that's exactly what we'll unpack next. What the rich actually do to multiply money. Let's talk about strategy, because while most people are taught how to earn and spend, no one teaches you what to do after you earn. And that's exactly where the wealthy pull ahead. The difference isn't just numbers, it's how they use their money. You see, the average person follows a loop. Earn money, spend money, repeat. Bills, groceries, a few splurges, then back to zero. Maybe there's some savings, maybe not. But even if there is, it just sits there, slowly losing value to inflation. The middle class is slightly better. They might save more, invest a little, maybe even own a home. But most of their money is still tied up in things that don't pay them back, like cars, lifestyle upgrades, and unused subscriptions. Their savings grow slowly. They're still working for money. Now the rich? They flip the script. They don't just earn and spend. They earn, invest, reinvest, and only then do they spend the profits. The focus isn't consumption, it's multiplication. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two people, same job, same income. One saves and buys a luxury car. The other uses that same money to start a small online business or invest in dividend-paying stocks. 5 years later, the first person has a depreciated car. The second? They have a cash-flowing asset and a system that prints money monthly. That's not luck, it's decision-making. Here's the real kicker. The wealthy treat money like employees. Every dollar is a worker. They send it out to do a job, grow, multiply, come back with more. Whether it's real estate, stocks, businesses, or intellectual property, they're always buying things that pay them, not drain them. Meanwhile, most people treat money like a reward. I worked hard, I deserve this. And sure, you do. But if that reward empties your account instead of growing it, you're still on the treadmill. Let's take a deeper dive with a familiar face, Jeff Bezos. You'd think one of the richest men alive would live like royalty every day. But go look at his photos. Simple polos, old Honda Accords, plain homes. Why? Because real wealth isn't about appearances. It's about equity. Bezos didn't just start a business. He owned a massive share of it. When Amazon grew, so did his wealth, without lifting another finger. Now let's contrast that with your favorite influencer. They've got the glam, the cars, the viral content. But dig a little deeper, and you'll often find loans, rent, and the pressure to keep up the illusion. They're rich in content, but poor in assets. Another example, athletes. Many of them earn millions in their careers, but once the game ends, so does the income. And unless they invested wisely, many end up broke within a few years. Why? Because they had high income, but no multiplication. They treated money like a faucet, always running. But the wealthy, they build pipelines. One more analogy. A poor person lives off a bucket. They fill it with money, then empty it with expenses. A wealthy person builds a well. Money keeps flowing in, even if they're not actively working. Here's the game-changing idea. The goal isn't to have more money. The goal is to have money that works for you. You want to be in a position where if you took the next year off, your finances would still grow. That's the true definition of freedom. Not just having money, but having time and options. And it doesn't mean you have to be rich to begin. In fact, the wealthiest people often start with far less than you'd expect. What separates them is that they ask better questions. Instead of, how do I afford this? They ask, how can I build something that pays for this? That small shift, that's the foundation of wealth multiplication. So now that you see how the wealthy actually operate behind the scenes, how they treat every dollar like an investment opportunity, how they chase control instead of clout, it's time to ask yourself a serious question. Why aren't more people doing this? And that's where the next section comes in. Because there's one rule the wealthy live by, and the system hopes you never do. Let's talk about the income stacking hack, the one that turns everything you just learned into action. The income stacking hack. This is it, the real strategy the wealthy use but rarely talk about. It's called income stacking, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Building multiple income streams so you're never dependent on one. Here's the simple truth. If you rely on one paycheck, you're in danger. One job loss, one emergency, and everything crumbles. But if you have 3, 4, or 5 income streams, you're untouchable. Let's break it down into levels. First, you have your survival income. This is your job, your freelance work, your main gig. It's what keeps the lights on, but instead of blowing it all, you use it strategically to fund the next level. Second, you build your freedom income. This could be a side hustle, rental income, digital products, investing, anything that earns while you sleep. The goal? Replace your job income. Once that happens, you've bought your freedom. Third, you grow your money. Extra cash that gives you options. Want to invest in new ideas? Go for it. Want to take a break? You can. This is the income that builds true peace of mind. And here's the best part. It doesn't take millions to start. You just need discipline. That $100 from a side gig, that's your seed. The key is to use your current income to build your next one. Still think you're too broke to start? Think again. If you had money for subscriptions, gadgets, and snacks, you've had enough to start stacking. You just spent it wrong. But now that you know the method, how do you put it into action without getting overwhelmed? That's exactly what we'll cover next. Step-by-step guide to escape the financial trap. It's time to make this real. If you're serious about escaping the paycheck prison, here's a blueprint anyone can follow. Step 1, audit your spending. No, you don't need to give up everything, but cut what doesn't help you grow. That daily coffee, that extra subscription, redirect that money into your second income. Step 2, start a second income stream. This doesn't need to be perfect. Start a freelance gig, create something digital, flip items online, rent out gear, or invest in beginner-friendly platforms. The point is to begin. Step 3, reinforce your second income by reinvesting. Don't blow your side money on lifestyle upgrades, use it to make more. Buy tools, upgrade your systems, or invest in something that grows even without you. Step 4, build toward passive income. Once your second income starts working, transition to low-effort systems. Stocks, automated stores, info products, whatever aligns with your skills and goals. Step 5, scale until your second income matches your job income. This is your freedom threshold. When that happens, you're not stuck. You can quit, pivot, or double down. You're in charge now. The process isn't instant, but it's real. And the best part, you don't need to be rich to start. You just need to be committed. That brings us to the final part. What kind of life are you choosing to live? Choose your game. Stay broke or build power. Here's the truth. Your life is a game, and every dollar you earn is a move. But which board are you playing on? You've got two paths. Path A is the default. Work hard, hope for a raise, spend more than you make, worry about bills, repeat until retirement, maybe. Path B is different. Stack your income. Turn your money into a team that works for you. Buy your time back. Live on your terms. You don't need $1 billion to feel wealthy. What you need is control, the ability to say no, the freedom to take a break without stress. That's the real win. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if money wasn't always a problem? What could you build, create, or experience if you weren't just surviving? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear how you'd use that freedom. And if you're serious about flipping your mindset, watch the next video. It dives deeper into how to build assets from scratch with zero experience. Hit that subscribe button if you're done playing defense with your money. Because the real flex, it's not cash, it's control. Let's get to work.